Hello, everybody. The Bark side is here. Tara, we have a special guest, a friend of
We do.
yours.
Yes. We have
Um,
Hi,
Daniela from
very
Barks
nice
and
to be
Blooms.
on. Thanks for having me.
thanks for joining us here. The Barks and Blooms, right? Daniela here with us
Yes,
here, and you and Tara know each other. We kind of know each other. Oddly,
yes.
I shaved your husband's beard. We won't talk about that now. But before we got started here, it was a TV thing. It was years ago. What are you gonna do? So for people that don't know, I got Tara on that one. It's a long story. People are now going to go Google Wilson shaves
Yeah, they're
beard.
not going to get it.
They're not going to get it. Barks and Blooms, for people that aren't familiar with you all, you kind of, I think you,
I can give
concierge.
you
It sounds very fancy to me.
it's not fancy at all, actually. We
Pet
we deal with
concierge.
poop and slobber and
Yeah.
lots of love and fur. I come home usually in fur, and it's a lot of fun. It's not fancy at all. It's kind of it's very personalized. We basically do dog walking for people that work long hours, where we come in and give their dog a break so that they can sit in the office and know that their dog is being cared for at home, and not holding their bladder. And we also do pet sitting, so we do travel care when people travel and leave out of town. We also do plant and garden care. We're
Now that sounds
not a
fancy.
landscaper, but we'll water your plants and keep them alive, basically.
So
Town.
listen, and I was really just kind of having fun there because concierge just reminds me of that episode of The Office. You can Google that where it's very fancy. So Tara, we wanted to have Danielle on here because we just had spring break not too long ago, and people are kind of thinking summer vacation and all that kind of stuff. This
Right.
is kind of the perfect time because Tara, you got to think about your pets, your four-legged friends, if you're not taking them with you.
Yeah,
Do.
absolutely. You need to
And
know who to go to. You need to know why. You need information. And
you
so,
really need to plan in ahead of time, because as soon as the weather starts to get warm, that is when we start to get really busy. And post COVID, there are not a lot of small companies out there, that most of us are operating at capacity. And so, you want to book ahead of time. It's a peak booking time for most people. You want to plan for your pet. Not everyone, wants to choose a professional pet care company, but, I can certainly speak to some things you can look out for to plan for your pet and make sure they're safe while you're away.
Well, and Tara, you got people in and out of the store all the time. What do you think? Like
absolutely, yeah,
what do you think the number one question is
yeah, it
that
is.
people have? What do you think people are asking about boarding and looking after their pets while they're gone?
Well, they want to know where is a safe place that I can leave my pet, or can I trust somebody in my house? And do
Yeah.
you know anyone? Or, do you know about daycares? There's
Mhm.
so many questions, but it's always about the safety and well-being of their pet. So I
I guess
have,
that's what it comes to. Like, are you gonna board? Are you gonna take your pet somewhere, or do you
yep,
want someone to come into your home? And I guess it really kind of depends on your preference, but also what's good for your furry friend.
and
Right.
who's reliable. So Daniela is
Yeah, you
amazing. I really just talk about two places at Pet in the City I
there's a
recommend
lot
because
of
I
good
know
companies.
them very well.
There's
So
a lot of good companies in Charlotte. I always recommend going with a small local company as opposed to a platform such as Rover. A lot of people don't understand the differences, but Rover is not a personal company. They are just simply a platform that connects people to other people. So a lot of people don't understand that, but they're a tech platform. They're not a company that is there to take care of you. They're just a connector.
Hang on a
So
second. Hang on, Daniel. Wait a minute.
yeah.
Wait a minute. Are you talking about Rover, the dating site? What is that? This is new to me. I have no idea what you're talking about. Rover?
Rover, Wag. I mean, they're platforms that, if people are looking for pet care, they may go to those platforms to try to find someone to take care of their pet.
Who's going to a Who just go on Facebook Marketplace and just say, "Please come take my pet"? Are you
Well, I
serious?
think a lot of people don't really know that it's a platform. They just get a recommendation like, "Hey, Rover's great," blah blah blah, and then they may not understand it is a tech platform. It's not a company that is is really there to make sure your pet is very well matched with someone. Let's put it
This
that
is
way.
news to me. You both just blew my mind. You're acting like this is something I have not heard about this, and clearly you all have. This sounds like a terrible, awful idea. Why would you want to meet the people that are going to be looking after your pet, Danielle? Geez, the
I think, and I don't want to say that you can't get a good pet caregiver on Rover, because you can, but you can get a great person. You can also get a scary person, and it's kind of like it's a little bit of a gamble. Whereas if you're booking with a professional company, you have an owner that is vested and cares about the pets they're taking care of. They oversee their team. We have employees so that, we're able to train them. We background check. We have a very extensive hiring process for dog walkers. A lot of people laugh about that, but it weeds people out that don't want this kind of job. And so, I have to have peace of mind myself because I'm a huge animal lover. I know how important it is. And also it's a
hang on a
lot of
second,
it's
Danielle.
about,
I'm sorry to
yeah,
interrupt you. Our
sure.
producer just handed me a note telling me not to ask about Rover and the background checks. I'm not supposed to ask about that. So
Okay.
don't. You can Google that yourself.
Yes.
I'm not supposed to ask about background checks and how just random ass people are going into your home on
Yeah.
those other places.
It's
We're
just
not
important to be
we're
educated.
not talking about that. There's really great people on the Rover. They're great. There's nothing to worry about there. It's
There are good
totally fine. There's good people on there.
There
It's
are good
totally
people on
fine.
Rover. I do know that. I'm not saying not. I'm just saying you just have to be educated
I'm not
about,
saying there's not.
yeah.
Plead the fifth.
But I think like if you're I like supporting small businesses. That's why I shop at Pets in the City, and that's why I know Tara. We're small business owners. We're not getting rich off what we're doing. We're doing it because we love it.
Exactly.
And we genuinely care about your pet. So I worry about people's pets sometimes more than they do. We put a lot of thought into everything. Pet care is very individualized. So, one of the things we do is consults. That's something we require before we agree to take on clients. And sometimes we have to say, this is not a good fit for your pet. Your pet is better suited for daycare or, and not everyone can afford our services. We have to carry insurance and all that good stuff. So, not everyone can sign up with a company, but there are things that you can do to vet out people and plan ahead so that your pets are safe when you travel.
I would just like to point out
More than enough
too that
business.
you want someone like Daniela who is nice and yes, not like me, who's going to fly off the handle at any moment thinking about some random coming into your home. Okay, you don't want me doing that. I have my hands full with my dog. So I would just like to point out right now, I don't know Daniela. I did shave her husband's beard one time. Don't read anything into that,
Well, you don't
but
know each other.
just very calm, and so I feel very reassured with that. On a more serious note though, there is with something like this, it is very personal, and whether you put your dog in a place, or whether you have someone come to your home, if you have an older dog, or you have a dog that may not do so well in a kennel setting or something like that, someone coming into your home, and you want to make sure those are good people. For me, you guys know me for all these years. I get a little crazy sometimes. I don't want, like, I would like to have a local person who has a company who I can go and check and be like, they've been doing this for years and years. They didn't just sign up to some, I'm not going to say it, platform. So that's what I'm looking at here. Danielle, when someone calls you up and they're kind of they're vetting you, okay? If you
Mhm.
were vetting you, what kind of questions should a person who's kind of looking for what kind of questions should they ask?
Well, I think the biggest problem, with pet care, like I like to say that I'm in risk mitigation. We like to keep pets safe. So I think it's really important that you're pairing your pet with someone that they're comfortable with. I would, probably initiate that process before you leave town. So maybe have them come over, visit a few times, maybe do a trial run, get comfortable with how to put harnesses on properly, maybe establish some protocols. Like, for instance, if we enter through garage doors, the garage door gets shut before we open the interior door. Very simple things like that can prevent tragedy. I hear it all the time, and it's really sad because we do this so much that I see a lot of, the devil's always in the details. So we try to make sure that we have all of that planned out well in advance. And
Daniela, Sorry, I had a question too. If someone like you, we were talking about earlier, if someone wanted like a daycare or boarding facility, what would what should they look for in that capacity?
Um, I would, we have clients that have puppies, for instance, that, we encourage them to use daycare. Can you please let her out? I'm sorry, my dog is like needing to go out
No, it's
immediately.
okay. Go ahead. Do what you got to do. Our
My
dog. This
son's
is a
here.
show
He
about.
can take care of
Right,
him.
This is a show about dogs. Our dogs interrupt all the time, so feel free.
But
It's all.
yeah, but we have puppies that we take care of, and then, at some point owners want them to get socialization. It's important. So
right.
daycare is very important, a very important part of that. We always encourage that. So I always say bring them there for half of the day, drop them off, take a tour, get to know the facility. I would never drop my dog off somewhere that I wasn't able to look around
Yeah.
and see
Yeah.
how they're being kept, how long they're being kept in kennels, cages, that sort of thing. I mean, I don't want to say not to board with a vet. I think there's a need for that for medical components, but think about they need exercise. You don't want them in a cage like most of the time. So I think it's important to engage that process before you leave town, so you have a good feeling about it.
Yeah,
Check out the place,
for
kind of do a
sure.
trial run. That's really what we encourage people to do. Try out a few different places and see what feels good for you. A lot of it is peace of mind and just having that.
We were talking before about just some medical stuff and fleas, and just a little bit beforehand really goes a long way. And this might be a little bit more detailed. Like I'm just saying, for me, I'm not going to leave my pet somewhere where I haven't been before and where I
Yeah.
haven't had my pet be before, just because you want them to feel comfortable and feel okay with it. But if you do find a good place, it's like the best in the world and it's great. Okay, I'm going to play a little devil's advocate here.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to be
It's
the
my favorite
difficult.
game.
Yes, I'm going to be. You ready? I'm going to
I'm
morph
ready. I'm
into
ready.
the the difficult husband. Here we go.
Okay.
Okay, honey, listen. Why don't we just get blah 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 from down the street? We know them and that kid is 11, 12 years old. What could go wrong? Okay, so Daniela, what would you say to someone watching this whose significant other might go, well, why don't we just get the kid down the street?
Well, I'll tell you a big thing with that is reliability. Our phones ring off the hook. Last minute people, oh, my pet sitter's sick, or my pet sitter canceled, or the girl down the street didn't show up. That's a huge thing. Like when you leave town, you don't want to have to worry about someone not showing up. We have never not shown up for our clients in 9 years. There would never be a time where we wouldn't. We always have a plan. So that's a risk, right? And then I also think about, well, what kind of dog are we talking about? Are we talking about a dog that pulls on leash? Sometimes owners don't always disclose all the information that they think you might need to know. Like maybe my dog's reactive on the leash. You get a kid who's handling a dog and walking them, and all of a sudden there's a squirrel that runs across the road or another dog, and they lose control of your dog. And so, lots of things like that can happen. It is a risk, I just think you have to really think through all that ahead of time and really think about the risk and what your dog's needs are. Again, it's very individualistic depending on what kind of dog you have.
Yeah.
Another situation is shy dogs. They just do not do well with new people that they don't know. And we have a rule. Sometimes we have to kind of acclimate into pet care, so we may start that before they leave. But we never push dogs because that's how people get bites. Most people aren't comfortable with, there are some dogs and some breeds that aren't comfortable with people coming in their house. So we have to gauge that and plan for that as well. And, you don't want to set your dog up to fail, basically.
And you don't want to send just you as, a business owner, someone who's hiring people and working with people. It sounds like there's a bit of a process here where you've got people with experience that know what they're doing with different breeds. They've been around the block a little bit. They're not somebody down the street who might mow your grass. They're looking after your furry friend member of the family here. So just, again, with what you just said right there, what you're comfortable with, but you've got people there that are experienced.
And I'm highly involved. So, I meet clients personally myself. That's how I choose to run my business. I also take care of dogs myself as well. I enjoy it. I do have highly trained people. I also know their strengths and, what might be a good match. So I do a consult and I determine which one of my team members I feel is going to be the best fit, and then they would come with me and learn the routines. And it's really a seamless process. we make sure they're local and they're close by, and that they have the skills that make good matches.
Tara, you've sent people, different places and all that kind of stuff, and you've recommended Daniela's company here and everything. What kind of feedback are you getting from people?
I mean, I have to say, for the most part, everybody I've recommended to Daniela and to my other friend Haley has been great. I mean, I don't put my name on people easy. It takes a long time. I have to get to know you, and I haven't had one issue at all. So,
Where can people find out more about you, Danielle?
You can go onto our website, it's sparksandbloomsnc.com. But, if you can also, another good resource that people don't realize is petsit.com is also a great place to find a professional caregiver. If it can't be us, maybe we're not in your service area, you can go to that website to find a professional that is well versed on skills needed to take care of your dog. I'm not saying that, people may be comfortable with a neighbor. I think that it's important that you plan ahead. I'm
Yeah,
gonna put
no,
that.
that's that. I mean, I'm not knocking the kids. I'm just saying,
Yeah, yeah,
depending on
yeah.
your
And
dog, you might be new.
we've been doing this for 9 years, and there's a lot of things that happen when people leave town. We've had people's homes get broken into. I've had to unfortunately put someone's dog down while they were in another country, and that is a very difficult thing to do. It was a freak thing where they had gotten an injection for their arthritis, and it ruptured their lining. Anyway, it's
Oh
not a
my,
great
that's
story, but
awful. But the thing you got
we're
people there's a
prepared
process. Yeah.
to do everything it takes to make sure that that animal's cared for. And in that case, a family member was able to step in and help make decisions. But you have to really plan for those kinds of things because you just never know. So
I'm going to share something here, Tara. I don't think I've shared with Tara a couple times. My dog George was the most well-known dog in Charlotte for a long time on TV. He's the best. He is like everything to me. And I know you guys hear that all the time. I've mentioned a couple times I have dreams about my dog. Do you dream about your dog just busted in right there, Dan? Does your dog pop in your up in your dreams at all?
um lots of
Okay.
dogs pop up in my dreams, to be
Well,
honest with you.
I will just tell you this. You just sitting here talking about this. I had a very, very, I shouldn't share this, but I really don't care. I had a very vivid dream almost 8 years ago. That someone known on a national scale, unfortunately, for some reason, I was out in a cabin in the woods, and I had to go do something, and I had to leave my dog with this man. And it was one of the worst nightmares I have ever had in my life. And it was awful. And I'm getting shivers and just having, and I couldn't do it. So I'll just leave you with this. Vote, people. Vote. Please vote. That's all I'm going to say. It was awful. It was
sorry, that is
awful.
awful.
I'm just saying, if you don't know, if you're confused, you shouldn't be. But if you wouldn't vote for him, if you wouldn't let him look after your dog, don't vote for him. That's all I'm going to say with that.
Well, and do a dry run. Important thing is supervision. Don't leave
We
dogs
did the
outside
dry
if
run.
there's.
No, you're talking about something else. Okay, I'm sorry. Go
Well,
ahead. Sorry.
I'm just trying to give some pointers. You don't want to leave dogs unsupervised outside. That's a
Oh
really
no.
basic thing, and a
Yeah.
lot of people just don't know that. People don't know better, but yes, my dogs do not sleep through the night because they're old, so they probably interrupt my dream cycle. We're usually up around 3,
Uh,
you
well,
know.
listen, and let me ask you this too. There's also, we have a lot of people moving to town, a lot of people moving to apartments and condos and
Yeah.
everything. That's something where I am floored at the number of people that I know that leave their dog in an apartment all day. Your people can come and help with that a little bit, give them some of that exercise, at least some kind of stimulation or something
Oh
a
yeah.
couple times a
Yeah,
week.
and actually it prevents a lot of unwanted behaviors. A lot of things can be boiled down to exercise, especially with certain breeds.
Yeah.
So when people wonder why their dog chews things during the day or wreaks havoc in their apartment, it usually comes down to them not getting enough stimulation or exercise. And the same with cats. Cats need change. You need to change cats' routine, environment. They like to be stimulated. Whenever we take care of cats, we move things around. Like cat trees, I
Yeah.
might move it to the other side of the room, and And it's fascinating what something small like that can do. Like it's just, you really just have to be mindful about each individual pet and what their needs are. And that's really what we try to do is cater that to what that individual dog needs. And it's not this, it's different for every single one of them.
So Tara, plan ahead. Okay, we got some
All
point to
right.
plan ahead. Individual, like your dog, your pets. So
Mm-hmm.
what works for one pet may not work for another pet, and just a little bit of research goes a long way. I think those are my three
Yeah,
pointers
talk
that
to
I'm good.
people. Yeah.
Get references, ask for references, do a dry
Mm-hmm.
run before you leave town, leave emergency contact information, leave your vet information, have a plan and make sure your yard is secure. Make sure you got all the holes patched up and all that good stuff and really just come up with a plan that minimizes risk. That's really what it's about because you don't want your dog getting out the door. It's really simple mistakes that cause tragedies, unfortunately, that are very avoidable. And most people, it's unintentional, but they just don't know better. I guess because it's our business, it's the first thing we look for, or things that are risky.
It's the
It
details, like you said.
really is. It
Absolutely, the
matters a whole
details.
lot. And
No,
nobody wants to get that call when they're out of town that their dog's running around the
oh,
streets or,
that
that's
nightmare I mentioned. He left the
devastating.
gate open. He left the gate open, and he was sitting there just eating KFC. Didn't even care about my. I don't want
Well,
and his little
and
can.
landscapers leave gates open a lot unintentionally. Pooper scooper. I mean, we always have to check them because people leave gates open all the time. So
Mm-hmm.
eke out the door, make sure the gates are shut before dogs go out. It's just simple things like that. But there's a lot of really great companies in Charlotte.
There
Um,
is.
there's so many, and but petsit.com is a great resource. We certainly can help where we can. We've run our company strictly off referrals, so we've never advertised, and we haven't taken a lot of new clients since COVID. Dog walking we do, but pet sitting's been a little bit hard. But there's a lot of great companies to choose from, and that's a good resource to check if we can't help. So
What's your website one more time?
barksandbloomsnc.com.
BarksandBloomsNC.com. We got it right there at the bottom of the screen right there. Daniela, thank you so much.
Yeah,
And
of course.
say hi to your husband right there. I hope the razor burn healed.
Yeah, I think so. And thanks for having me on. This was very fun, exciting.
Yeah,
So,
Well,
thanks for
thank
coming
you.
on and joining us.
Yeah,
yeah,
thank you.
good
That was good
time.
stuff. So good. Get Tara booked that guest, by the way, not the producers here. So good job on that one, Tara. That was good.
Hey, I'll come back. I'll talk about anything. You let me know.
Yeah, we'll get you back for
There's a lot
sure.
to talk about, right, Tara?
There is a lot to talk about.